Hey, well, welcome to the October 12th Thursday chat. I think all of us are shocked and saddened by the obscene and cruel murderous attack on Israeli civilians. I had asked Rabbi Judy if she would open the meeting with something for us, but it turns out that for the same reason, she has taken today off because a number of members of her family have just arrived today from Israel for a sad but important reason. So you'll hear in a few minutes from Jessica Coleman about a community gathering tomorrow morning on the subject, and we'll go ahead with the various announcements, and we'll start with Judith Kahn.
Thank you, Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And it's good to see everybody's faces. It really is a good thing to be together, at least on the community chat here. I wanted to remind everyone that our Hadassah Saturday Women's Study Group will be meeting on October 21st. That's Saturday after this, at 2 o'clock in the synagogue. Now, this is our first meeting after our summer hiatus, but we did muster up a very big focus group of some of our faithful members over the summer, and we've also been talking to various other women about it, and we've agreed on a course of study that I think is bound to be encourage some very interesting thinking and some lively discussion. The course is called So You Think Your Family Has Problems, and it'll be an examination over a series of monthly meetings of Jewish perspectives on the nature and the form of family. We'll be using various family scenarios from the Tanakh as the basis of discussion, and we're hoping to share the leadership duties among all of the members in the discussion. We want it to be an interactive group. We'd like to encourage the women who have been part of the group to return, and we'd especially like to extend an invitation to new members of the Newbridge community to join us. You needn't be a Hadassah member in order to attend. We've had some good responses so far from Betty's announcement last week, but if you'd like to join us, please do call Lulla Gordon at extension 42427 or myself at extension 42385. So that we can get a sense of how many people are going to be there, and so that we can get you a copy of some study material with some questions to stimulate thinking for the first meeting. We're really looking forward to the planning committee's really looking forward to launching the course. Again, we'll meet on Saturday, October 21st in the synagogue at 2 o'clock. We hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sharon Gouveia.
Thank you, Jerry. I really hesitated about making this announcement because of everything that is going on in Israel at this time. I know there's a great sadness throughout the world, but especially here at Newbridge. But I spoke with Rabbi Judy, and she felt that it's important that we continue to do and reach out to others to do a mitzvah. So the Volunteer Outreach Committee is once again going to put together a trip to Cradles to Crayons on October 28th. They have changed their work times, or their times for us to volunteer. So we'd be volunteering from 12:30 to 2. So it's an hour and a half rather than the 2 hours that we had before. So we do have a bus going. I would ask you please to let me know if you are interested in going, because I've said that there would be about 10 of us. So I'd like to know how many of us are able to go. So, and we just might stop for ice cream on the way home. We've been doing that the last couple of times, and that always seems to be a highlight of the volunteering experience. So thank you very much, Jerry.
Thanks. Sharon. Nancy Vega.
Just to piggy off a little bit what Sharon said, I just wanted to extend invites personally for people to also, come together and be with people around this difficult time. So tomorrow I actually have a reminder for a webinar that's happening through BU that I will be putting in the theater to talk about Tech Titans Under Scrutiny, and it's about Amazon's current lawsuit and how it's monopolizing the tech industry. Then we also have a very exciting program on Monday by the lovely Newbridge resident Sheila Pillay, who's going to talk about her journey through 6 safaris, which she and her husband Herb had the privilege of experiencing. So that's Monday at 2:00 in Great Meadow Hall. And lastly, it's just a reminder that courses officially start next week. So I'm excited for that, and I will see you in class.
Okay, thanks, Nancy. And now Jessica Coleman.
Thank you, Jerry. I have a few announcements. My first is regarding Larissa. Many people have been asking about how she is and when she will return, and I do have some good news that Larissa has actually started back this week. You're not going to be seeing her around at first, as she's going to be working part-time and remotely, but the plan is for that to occur for a couple weeks, and then she should be back in the building. She really wanted me to express just how grateful she is for everyone who has reached out. And if you have questions for her, she can be reached by email. If there's anything that you need to contact her about, email is best as well. But I will say, give her a little grace period of getting back to people. As you can imagine, she's digging out several emails. My second announcement is about the COVID vaccine clinic yesterday. Thank you for everyone who attended. We ended up vaccinating about 200 people, which is pretty amazing. The Dedham Pharmacy did a great job. From what we heard from the residents and the staff, was that it was a very seamless day. It started off a little rocky with the pharmacist being a few minutes late, but once we caught up, the day went well. And I really appreciate everybody's support in getting there. And I need to give a special shout out to Joe Zagalis. Most of you know and love him from the concierge desk and don't see what he does behind the scenes, especially with any type of clinic we have. Joe is scheduling all the residents. He's taking all the consent forms. He's filling in all the paperwork. So if you see him, thank him, because it's possible because of all the work he did behind the scenes, as well as the other community life members who were there helping with paperwork as well. Lastly, my third announcement is that I welcome all the residents and staff to come together tomorrow at 11 a.m. We will be gathering in solidarity with Israel. It's at 11 a.m. in Great Meadow Hall. We are having the president of the Hebrew College, Rabbi Sharon. She's going to be coming. She'll be speaking to the community. We'll also be having some songs. And of course, most importantly, we'll be having prayers for peace. So I really hope that I see all of you there. If you can make it, I would love to be together as a community during this horrific time.
So thank you. So we have a question from, I assume, Bob Brown.
Hi, Bob.
Not a question I wrote you, Jerry, but thank you anyway. Good afternoon, Newbridge residents. First, I would like to thank the Newbridge community for the kindness, the good wishes, and the support in so many ways that they showed to my wife after her severe wrist fracture. It was duly appreciated by the Brown family.
Thank you.
Next, most of us have been deluged with requests for donations. They can be overwhelming, but the Appreciation Fund, is different. While it is entirely voluntary, just as a tip in a restaurant is voluntary, it should not be thought of as a donation. Rather, it is a gift to our staff for their services over the past 6 months. And Judy and I have really appreciated their services, from the service, security, cleaners, transport, maintenance, and not least of all, Joe Zogalis. By and large, they have all done so with a smile and graciousness. So this is one gift that I feel really good about when I write the check. If you are moved to do so, as many of you are and have been, and want to give more than the suggested amount, the Appreciation Fund Committee thanks you. If you just give what you can, the Appreciation Committee thanks you too. There would be nothing nicer than our going to the Newbridge staff and saying we've reached 100% participation. The staff deserves it, so let's make it happen. Any gift will be good. Thank you, and thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, we're ready for you, Josh and Chef Eileen.
Thanks, Jerry. I think Chef's going to take the first part, and then I'll follow up.
So Joe Zagalis is not considered one of the people.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Just a few updates. First of all, on the central menu, we are looking to finalize the menu by October 25th and 26th. And hopefully that is a Thursday, so hopefully we can share that with you guys on October 26th. And then it will go out, the menu will go out on Friday the 27th. And it will be then also on our website. And the new menu rollout for Central will be November 6th. Now, November 6th, it's a Monday, we will be closed for lunch. As we have to kind of do a little test to make sure that the kitchen is running as well as the wait staff. Both Adriana and Patrick do feel that's very, very important. It's kind of to get the jitters out more so than anything else. So yes, to look forward to a new menu November 6th. And then we are also organizing ourselves and we're also sending out a memo this week about Thanksgiving. Believe it or not, it's not that far around the corner. So obviously we're opening Central and for Nosh from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can start booking beginning Friday, October 20th, and it'll be closed by November 17th. Parties of 10 or lower are welcome in the Central and the Nosh. But if you have larger families, which I'm sure you all do, and you want to join us, we will be having Great Meadow Hall. So if you have larger parties, we can hopefully accommodate that for Great Meadow Hall for Thanksgiving. Now it's all detailed out on a memo, which will be sent out tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. Appreciate that. And then I just wanted to kind of piggyback something Chef and the team have been working hard and diligently in getting the planning for the holidays, beginning with Thanksgiving, alongside with the Central Fall seasonal menu rollout. But I have fielded questions both in person from the community as well as on the Zoom call about the plan for Nosh. And while we don't have a timeline to currently share, I want to make sure that I get in front and let you know that there are a lot of behind the scenes conversations, discussions, and planning for Nosh. Some of those are longer term, and I think Matt had alluded to that. He had mentioned working with some architects on some requests for proposals for kitchen design and things of that nature, and that's long term. Short-term planning, the dining team is working closely with the Third Plus consultants and the dining committee. And at the request of the chair, Peter Halfon, on the dining committee, they have created a subcommittee, which will be chaired by Mayor Fine, focusing primarily on Nosh, and we'll be doing listening tours, procuring feedback, and really giving the dining team some sense of a direction and guidance on the ultimate goal of providing an excellent dining experience in Nosh. one, of course, that is a kosher dining experience and can cater to the residents that keep strictly kosher, but also can appeal to some of those who aren't as strict kosher, but still want to enjoy a nice dining experience in Nosh. So again, I don't have a timeline to share, but we are looking very quickly in the near future to start implementing and sharing timelines of what the changes in Nosh will look like. So just wanted to make sure I addressed it because of the questions that have been coming up. So thank you, Jerry.
Okay. So wait a minute. So we're ready for you, Matt.
All right. Hello, everyone. So I think everyone saw my letter this week about what has happened in Israel. And like all of you, I've put a lot of time and thought into the impact that it has, not only to me as an individual, but to our community, and to each of you and our employees. And the one thing that I keep coming back to in all of the horrificness and the atrocities is that we're lucky. We're lucky because we have each other. We're lucky because we're in a community that cares about one another. We're lucky because when all of these horrible things are happening, we're in a place that we can look each other in the eye and respect and trust and care about one another. That's what separates our community and what we do here from everywhere else. So I ask you all this. If you're going through a tough time, if you need some help, if you have family, and I know there's a lot of connections, please, we have the systems to support you here. We have a tremendous community life team. We have outstanding Rabbi Judy. We have Lori Feldman in the social workspace, Jessica Coleman, who is a seasoned and trained RN. I joke with her that oftentimes she's more of a social worker than anything. And myself, just a guy who cares a great deal. So please, 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 we're here for you. We're here for each other. And this is truly one of those scenarios where there are no words that can do this justice. So just be here for one another. And we'll be here for you. Somehow, some way, as a community, we'll come through this. So I just wanted to take a moment and express that sentiment. COVID-19, again, a shout out to Joe Zagalis, who did a great job. Also behind the scenes, no surprise, Mark Blajewski was there working right alongside Joe, Nancy Sullivan, Jess Coleman, David Rader. I think the piece that people don't realize is Dedham Pharmacy doesn't just show up and start putting shots in arms. There is a week worth of work, scrambling through paperwork, calling people, trying to get their paperwork, rearranging schedules, talking to the pharmacy, making sure they're bringing enough vaccines. It goes on and on and on. And so when you hear about those unsung heroes behind the scenes, those are your Joe Zagalises and those people making that stuff happen. So thank you very much to them and to all of you for getting vaccinated, not only for keeping yourself safe, but keeping your neighbor safe. It makes my job so much easier when the community as a whole has a high vaccination rate. It allows us to go from 18 COVID cases to 0 in a matter of 10 days, which again doesn't happen normally. So I've been a little remiss to talk about the 5,000 elevator in the community building for the very specific reason that there is no information to share. The jack is still being manufactured. We knew it was going to be 3 to 4 months before we got that thing here and installed. I think it's been about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so we're still waiting for it to arrive. And by arrive, I mean Kone, our elevator company, gets it, then brings it on site and starts the work there. So we're still in a holding pattern. Usually the saying is no news is good news. I don't know if that's the case in this case, who knows? But I can tell you that we've been in contact with Kone and they tell us everything's on target. Caveat, that is generally what I always hear from everyone until it's not. So I'll be very frank and say that putting the pressure on, but the feedback we're getting is positive, but who knows? I'm not the elevator company, but I am certainly able to drive them absolutely crazy, which we've been doing. along with my opening topic discussing what's been happening in Israel, I know there have been some discussions and concerns over security here on our campus. Victor Furtado has done an incredible job reaching out to Dedham Police, and Dedham Police has done a phenomenal job responding to the demand to have more protection here on the campus. So you're going to see on the campus already more police presence, including unmarked cars, plainclothes police officers in uniform, things along those lines. Don't be nervous, don't be scared. It's our request just to have more of a presence here on campus. There's certainly a heightened awareness, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we cover all of our bases. We have great partners. We are so lucky, great partners in the local police. And they were more or less waiting for the phone call. So that was terrific. So you will see that as well. And then lastly, before we get to questions, I just want to make a plug to everybody as a reminder. These Employee Impact Awards exist where you can write at the front desks employees when they do a phenomenal job or they go above and beyond and make an impact. You can nominate them. And what happens is every single month we go through and we nominate a winner. But even if there isn't an actual winner, there's recognition. Any employee who receives a nomination gets recognized with a card from their manager, usually a thank you at the employee town hall, and then also a cupcake, a cookie, or some kind of nice thing. And it goes a long way, because what we learn here over and over and over again is that the community is the reason why our employees work so hard. They care very much for all of you. They care for each other. And it's that type of person that thrives and succeeds here. So that impact award is not only critical for us in terms of hiring and retaining great employees, it actually endears our employees even more to all of you, which then turns out into great services and going above and beyond. And so I know it's a relatively short list that I have today, but I think with the sentiment and the heaviness of our hearts right now, it's kind of the business we have to cover without going into all the things we don't right now. Because frankly, what matters most is truly each other. So,
Are any questions or anybody else who has any other thoughts? Well, this is a short meeting, but that just means we're doing a little bit better. But just before I started the meeting, I had to cut off people who were responding to a question whether others in the cottages had moths and they were about to gather together. So I'll keep this on and say goodbye to everybody in case those people who want to discuss a mutual problem with moths want to stay on for a few minutes.
Paul Chervinsky has a question.
Oh, okay. Before we quit, go ahead, Paul. Wait a minute.
Bad times are coming in Israel because the hostage problem is almost insolvable. And the thing is that as they cut off food and medicine, there's going to be a lot of criticism of Israel for what they're doing, but they have to do something in their nature to be sure that the hostages can be released and they still have that wherewithal to see that the thing is accomplished properly. But again, they can be really castigated for what they may have to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And let me just see the chat for a moment. Okay, so there was an invitation, Matt, that you hang out for a minute about the moths. And then there was a question, does our count of vaccinations include vaccinations that occurred that residents had elsewhere? And then there are all those people who have had COVID who couldn't get vaccinations but contribute to a vaccinated group. So with that, again, I invite the moth people to stay on and see you all next week. And tomorrow
Thank you, Jerry.
at
Thank you, Jerry.
11, don't forget the community gathering.
Bye, everyone.
So are all of the people here people who have been having trouble with moths?
Well, those people who have a moth situation, how about you wave? Let's just see how many. It looks like there are more than I heard before. So just hang on a minute. Okay, who's going to lead this off? Oh, Barbara Nims, you have your hand raised. Go ahead. Oh,
So just so I'm clear, we have 37 people that have moth issues.
I do, yep, I haven't chatted.
Jerry,
I had somebody, I've finally been sprayed. I had to clear out every single thing that I had.
Yep.
And they came on Tuesday and sprayed the whole area. So I spent the last 2 days putting everything back. But I mean, every pair of shoes and every pair of socks, anything that I have, and anything that wasn't clean, they suggested I take it and have it clean. And I've done that. So much so that my cleaner doesn't need another customer now. He's well set. I don't know if it'll help. I hope it'll help.
So
apparently-
Dora, I went through the same process. This is Dean.
Hi, Dean.
And the moths are back again.
I heard they come back.
Yeah, so and I've never had moths anywhere else. I have a second house, no moths there. Old house didn't have moths. So there's something going on specifically with the cottages.
I've never ever had
And,
moths until this happened with me the last 2 years.
I need to say that I'm not.
Yeah, and the first time that they came, they just put out big trap in one closet, which
Yeah.
is not, I mean, that's
Same
not
with
gonna
me.
do it. So I'm wondering if if the service that we're using is inadequate or
Yes,
if,
Who's
It
that,
is.
Terry?
Well,
I
hold
brought
on,
this
hold on.
up. okay, I brought this up, okay? Because this is the third time I've had clothing moths. And they send the exterminator that they hire. I spent a fortune cleaning all my clothes twice, taking everything out of my closet, and they keep coming back. So I called Terminex, and you know what? They come, they make an appointment. I haven't had an issue since I've been using them. So I
How
don't,
long have you been using them for, Terry?
about a year.
Oh, as long as that, okay.
Yeah,
So, Terry,
So-
you've had no issue at all since using Terminex?
yes. So I'm just wondering, who is the person that you have hired or that Newbridge just hired?
Squared Away Pest Control.
Huh?
Squared Away Pest Control.
Yeah.
It's the same company that does our sites and does a lot of other CCRCs.
Yeah, well, that may be, but for some reason, my moths are happy to come back and live with me. So I'm not quite sure what everybody should do, because it's very expensive. If you think of all the clothing you have, and
Well, so,
I have
and I
two.
noticed some people on this call don't live in the cottages.
Right,
I
have the problems, and I live in, I live in number one building, the small building. And I've had moths now for a few weeks and just been so embarrassed about it. I figured that I hadn't cleaned my woolens, but obviously there's a problem. Don't be embarrassed.
No, if you have very nice things, that's what moths like. This is Gloria. This is
They
Gloria.
go for cashmere more than anything else.
Well, so
The
what
other
moths
thing
do-
is, what? Okay.
moths do is they like to, well, they eat carpet or fabric, and generally that's where they lay their eggs as well. Particularly, they go after the moisture in the fabric from sweat and things like that. That's what they really like. And that's why clothing moths continue to perpetuate themselves.
So
What I'd like to do,
yeah.
I'd like to take down everybody's name.
Yeah.
That way I can share it with Josie and Fernando, and we can get a plan in place to have all of these units treated.
What they do is they come, this is what they did in my cottage. So the moths lay the eggs
in the corners,
the carpet and the floorboard.
Yeah.
And the eggs hatch. And anyways.
You have it?
Somehow they.
What?
You have, okay, what is that?
It was someone who wasn't muted and forgot.
So anyway, anything that, Matt, anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but.
Yeah,
So
be heard.
Oh, no, Matt,
I'm gonna make a request.
Yeah.
If you could call Josie Sullivan, and I'll let her know you're gonna call.
Yeah.
And that way we can get you on a list, because I just want to make sure everybody on this call actually has a moth issue and is not just curious as to the happenings with the moth people at Newbridge here. So this way we can actually cut through some of the noise and I can get some resolutions going.
You can make a club, the moth club.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
That would be really helpful, and I'll share with you right now Josie's phone information. That way you have it, and I will follow up and call as well.
Matt, what is Josie going to do, if I may ask? I've been in touch with Josie and all these people, and they've come. And
I need a list right now, Dort, is what I need. I need a full list of who's having an issue.
Okay.
And that's how I'm going to get the list.
Thank you. That's terrific.
Yeah. Also,
Thanks, Matt.
also you
So
need
Matt, just for your
continuing.
information, I also sent all the carpets out to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
hi, this
I've
is
done
Gloria.
as
This is
well.
Hard to send out a carpet that's attached to the floor.
Yeah, it is.
I've sent all my carpets to be cleaned as well, all of them.
Yep.
Hi,
Okay.
this is Gloria Fox. I would like to say something.
Sure, Gloria.
Unfortunately, we had moths in our former home, and I did bring them with me in my boxes when I moved to Newbridge, a few months ago. You have to have continuing treatment. It's not just one application. I have a private company that comes in and treats every 3 months. You also have to find the source of where the moths are. So if they're in your clothing, then you've got to get rid of the room clothes, obviously, and send those out to clean. They love silk and wool, cashmere, animal fur, and those are the things you have to really take care of and treat.
Thank you, Gloria. Good to know.
They're very
so-
expensive, let me tell you.
Yeah,
Elaine, I've got a
not the
question.
house guest you want.
No.
I have a question, please.
Hmm.
The moths you're talking about, are they large moths or are they little teensy things?
You hardly see them. You see a little thing flying around occasionally if you're lucky. You can't catch it either.
And they're like the outside moths. that
You just see ruined clothing.
That's right.
Yeah, they're small little beige moths, very small.
Okay, because I've got little tiny black ones and they're mostly in the kitchen and dining room and living room.
Those are called kitchen moths. You have a different variety.
All of a sudden,
Or
But
drain
they-
moth.
That's
Yeah, I
what
think it's
The drain
drain
moth.
moth. Yep.
the exterminator did come a couple of weeks ago because I requested it. And he said they were drain moths, but I can't figure out where the heck they're coming from because I have put water in the drains that he
Hot
told me
water?
to do. Pardon me?
Put boiling water in is what I read. Put down the drains. Pour boiling water down the drains. It
Okay.
takes care of it for a while.
Okay,
Then they
because,
come back. Okay.
yeah, because I've got a drain in the bathroom, in the master bathroom in the middle of the floor. And I think that's trying to remember, the shower the bathroom that we don't use. There's a drain there, so I've put water in, but they're tiny little black things. They land on my wall and it's not that they're hard to catch. They're pretty lethargic. They just stay there for a long time. Until you
Yeah,
switch.
I think of them as
Sounds like
little
drain
pets.
flies.
Those
Well,
are
I
different.
think we can wrap this up. We've got a plan. I will just add that when I was in Cottage 43, we had the kitchen moths, and we had to get several times have a of a treatment before we got rid of them. They weren't easy to get rid of, but in any case, Matt has a plan. He's listened to everybody, and I think we'll wrap up today's meeting, and thank you very much.
Thank you for doing that, Jerry.
Matt,
Thank
just
you.
please repeat who you want us to call.
Please call Josephine Sullivan, and she's extension 9150. But please don't call her for 5 minutes so I can tell her that all these phone calls.
She's still here.
And then what I'll do is I'll get with Fernando and the pest control company, and we'll identify whether or not the pest control company can handle this problem. And if they cannot, then we'll find another company to handle this, and we'll make sure we take care of it. And if that means repeated visits, which it sounds like it will,
I think so, yeah.
we'll do.
Can I say one
Thanks
thing?
very much.
Will you just try to make sure that whatever you use is non-toxic? I'm very afraid of that.
Who's saying that?
That's when you have the pest control company come in to your unit, that's when you would share that with them.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all tomorrow at 11.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry.